client that wants me to make a full-size bed of red cedar, so I'm going to be trying to get the headboard post out of these two slabs. I'm looking at going rails out of those over there. Then the rest of this will probably just be slats, and they have like a decorative headboard they kind of want me to do that I can use the rest of these pieces for once I mill them down. Most of the pieces broke down and the straight edge on them. These are going to be the side rails for the bed. I have a straight edge on one side. I'm about to take all this to the table saw. This is going to be for making the post material. This will be the footboard post, the headboard post. All these are going to make up the rails to actually make up the headboard and footboard. I'm going to glue two of these together after I plane these down to make them a little thinner. And then I'm going to use these boards, these three, for the side rails to actually attach to the headboard and footboard. And he's going to grab some 1x for slats. Come back out here in like an hour and probably throw the next set into clamps. Got all the pieces for the headboard and the footboards made up. I just need to run these through the planer one time and then clamp and glue, those three to make the posts, these two to make the bottom and top rails. I got the rest of the pieces over here milled up with straight edges. I got all the wood for all the posts milled up. Pretty much I'm gluing up 3 of them to give me the thickness that I want for all my corner posts for the headboard and footboard. I have to glue up these as soon as that one comes out of clamps. These are my 2 short posts, and my 2 long posts for my headboard. These are gonna make up. These still need to all get plain so they actually come out smooth like these. These are going to make up all the horizontal rails for the headboard and the footboard. These are just going to be 2 of them glued together for thickness. So it's going to be about yay thick. And I run these through the planer as well though. I still have to mill these and rip these square, but these are going to be the bed rails. All the slats and stuff are going to lay on, and the little ledger strip for it. These are going to be the 2 posts for the headboard. Those still have to get glued up. Currently I have all the horizontal rails for the footboard and headboard. Those are in clamps. I'm about to hit the table saw to get the bed rails made up. These are the 2 shorter posts, and these are the pieces that I have right now to make up the footboard. I'm pretty much just going to tongue and groove all these, make a little V groove, so I'll make a panel. That'll be the footboard. And then these 2 slabs I have left. I have that slab, and this one board right there. I have to make all the panels for the footboard and headboard, and that'll be the last pieces I need to make. So I might have a slab left over. I'm about to see. I'm probably just going to mill this one, save this one for later, and see how much I have once I cut this one down. I like to keep 1 slab for myself. 2 bed rails. I just need to glue this strip onto this one to be the ledger for all the slats so it's thick enough. These will be the bed rails. I have to cut these up. These are going to be the filler pieces for the headboard and footboard. This and all these little pieces. I got them all milled up to the same, so essentially it's going to be a top rail, bottom rail with a whole bunch of vertical short pieces. So I have to scrape the rest of this glue off, and sand everything else down, then I got to run a groove in between this piece, make all these tongue and groove so they can slide into the slots that I make. Cut everything to the final size and then assemble everything. So hopefully by like Thursday I have it looking like a bed. I got the other 2, the posts for the footboard. The short ones are over here. These are all glued up. I just need to cut them to length and throw like a chamfer all the way around and around the top. And then I have the longer post out here glued up now. much up once all this comes out of the clamps. It's really just a lot of sanding and making everything square. We got the headboard post over there in clamps. These are the ledgers that are going to go on the bed rail. They're currently in clamps. I had to use all the clamps I had. These are the two posts for the footboard. These are the bed rails. And then I have the rails for the headboard and footboard, and all the pieces that are going to be tongue and groove in the middle. Cleaned up through the planer. But this board up here is actually two pieces. The seam actually runs right there. There's a nice glue up. Typically can't see it anymore. Now those two boards have become one thicker board. And that will work for my rails. And the same thing for my post over here. I left a lot of extra on all these. This one did not take too well, but it took all the way back here. So once I chop that off, that should be fine. I should have enough material to make my two short posts, my two long posts. And then I have my rails and ledger strips that are now glued up. I need to run these through the planer too. Now everything's made up and ran through the planer. Only thing left is to just cut stuff to rough length one more time, then take that stuff to the router table. And once everything's routed, pretty much make up the headboard panels. I can cut off pretty much all this extra stuff down here to make all this just a square block. And then it's really just gluing up and assembling everything. So all these tongue and groove together, we have all the pieces we need made up to make the headboard and footboard. I have some long ones I need to cut down, and then they all slide into the dado, cut into the bottom and top rails. Now just a little bit of cutting and assembly tomorrow, and we'll have headboards and footboards. Everything's melted together. We have all the rails. We have 4 of them with all the dados cut in them. We made tongue and groove out of all of our little planks, so they slide together. Oh, they're a little tight. They all tongue and groove together. Pretty much done for the day. Tomorrow I'm going to cut all of these to the length they need to be for the footboard and the headboard, and then we're going to go ahead and clamp all those together and actually glue up the headboard and footboards. Then I need to cut the post to final length, put the decorative cap on it, and then we can actually glue the headboard and footboard together completely. That whole headboard footboard assembly can get sanded and get ready for finish, while these are the 2 rails, this bottom board and this one. I need to glue these little ledger strips, glue and screw these on at the bottom to hold all the slats, and then add the hardware to actually mount it to the post. And we start off like, I think 5-6 slabs. Coming out all right though. I'm ready to glue up the footboard for the bed. I had already cut all the pieces to length. Aquarius is over there sanding up the rest of the pieces for the headboard. I'm about to glue and assemble this one, take these out of clamps, then I can assemble the headboard. And then I just gotta cut the post to length. And then we have a bed. Well, this is the footboard. It's all glued up. Probably in the clamps for like another hour and a half. About to cut the rest of the pieces for the headboard and the rails, and pretty much just gotta throw the stuff in clamps, and I gotta glue the posts and stuff on, but that'll probably be tomorrow. I'm just gonna drill some holes for dowels and clamp and glue that up. But yeah, once I get both of these sections made up, that'll probably be tomorrow. Then it's just applying the finish. And now I just need to unclamp this one, probably like another 30-40 minutes, and then clamp up the headboard. And then tomorrow it'll just be final assembly, gluing the post to the head and footboard and mounting. I just have this drill and mount the hardware for all the rails and stuff. But other than that, that's just finishing well with the Odie's oil. 2 rails with the ledger strip mounted up there. Got all the screws screwed in. I got both of them sitting there. I have all my posts cut to length with the pyramid cap on the top. And then over here I have my footboard gluing up. I'm going to take this out of clamps in a second. That's going to be the overall look, except that panel is going to be centered on the post. The panel's still in clamp, so it's like raised up off the ground. But yeah, center that panel in between the posts. That's the footboard. This one's about ready to come out of clamps, so I'm about to clamp up the headboard and I think call it a day. First headboard in the clamps. Didn't read the video the process. I probably will on the footboard. I'm using dowels, so I cut a couple oak dowels down to 2 inches. I'm sanding the edges of them so they fit in there real nice. And then I'm using my drill and the doweling jig, laid out all the holes. I have to drill the ones on this one. And laid all the dowels for the footboard. So yeah, I just need to drill the ones on the footboard in about 30-40 minutes, unclamp that one, clamp this one up. I still have to add the actual metal hardware to mount everything together, but other than that, we are done. We have the 2 rails made up with all the hardware attached to it. We have the headboard made up. All I have to do is mount the hardware. Probably gonna do that tomorrow when I apply the finish to everything. And I have the footboard out here glued up, well, in clamps. The only thing I have to do after all this is a final sand and apply finish. Get that done tomorrow. I got the finish rubbed in on some of it. I haven't done any of this yet. Apply the first coat of finish on one side. I might go 2. I just have to come back and buff it off in about an hour. And then flip it over and then apply some to the other side. I really like the color that it came out. Looks really, really good. Flipped everything over. I just need to buff this side off in about like 40 minutes. First impressions, actually my first time using the Odie's oil. All you have to do is take a white Scotch-Brite pad, buff it in real good, let it sit, and then buff it off with a clean white towel. Pretty easy finish to apply. It gives a really cool, smooth feel to it. It's not like a polyurethane with a film finish on it. And it's also supposed to be a 1-coat finish, and polyurethane typically takes like 2 or 3 days to actually get a good finish put on it, and lacquers at least 2 days. This stuff, you know, I probably can actually build up. I can do it. It's supposed to be, you can actually get away with 1 coat, but I probably can get away with doing 2 coats in like 4 or 5 hours. So we're gonna see how this actually takes. I'm putting a second coat on it tomorrow, then paste wax it, then assemble it.
More than one. I was like, what the fuck?
See, I wish I had a better camera.
In your pocket.
If I had a better camera, this would be gorgeous, I think.
Yeah. I'll let you use my digital camera, but there's steps to taking the pictures off of that. That's just on the phone. It was in the center, huh?
Yeah, that